Hey, English learners, welcome back to Everyday English Lab, your cozy place for real English, natural conversations, and daily fluency practice. I'm Joe, and today we are talking about something warm, relaxing, social, and honestly, very delicious coffee culture. Yes, coffee is not just a drink anymore. In many countries, coffee is part of daily life. People meet in coffee shops to study, work, relax, talk, read books, go on dates, or simply enjoy a quiet moment. And if you are learning English, coffee culture is actually a fantastic topic. Why? Because it helps you talk naturally. You can have simple conversations. You can describe flavors, you can tell stories, you can practice small talk. You can learn useful vocabulary that native speakers use every single day. So today, we are going to relax together and explore the world of coffee culture in English. We will talk about cafes, coffee habits, ordering drinks, useful expressions, social situations, modern coffee trends, funny experiences, and natural English phrases you can use in real life. So grab a cup of coffee, or tea if you prefer, and let's begin. First, let's talk about something simple. Why do people love coffee so much? Well, for many people, coffee is comfort. It helps them wake up. It gives them energy. It becomes part of their daily routine. Some people say, "I can't start my day without coffee." That expression is extremely common. And honestly, millions of people around the world probably agree. For some people, the smell of coffee in the morning feels peaceful. It feels safe. It feels familiar. Maybe you know this feeling. You wake up early, the weather is cold. You hear the sound of rain outside. And then you make a hot cup of coffee. That moment feels calm, almost magical. And you know what? Coffee culture is also connected to emotions. People create memories in cafes. Students study together. Friends laugh together. Couples have conversations. Writers write stories. Business people have meetings. Travelers rest after long walks. Coffee shops are social places. Now let's learn some very useful vocabulary. First, a cafe. A cafe is a small restaurant or coffee shop where people drink coffee, tea, and sometimes eat snacks or desserts. You can say, "I spent the afternoon at a cafe," or "That cafe has amazing coffee." Another useful word is barista. A barista is a person who prepares and serves coffee. Native speakers use this word all the time. Example, the barista recommended a caramel latte. Now let's talk about different coffee drinks. This part is very useful because English menus in cafes can sometimes feel confusing. You may see words like espresso, latte, cappuccino, americano, mocha, flat white, macchiato, cold brew. At first, these names can sound difficult. But don't worry, you do not need to memorize everything immediately. Let's make it simple. An espresso is a small, strong coffee. Very strong, usually served in a tiny cup. Some people drink espresso very quickly, almost like a shot. A latte is coffee with a lot of milk. It is smoother and creamier. A cappuccino is similar, but it has more foam. Foam means the light, bubbly milk on top. A mocha usually includes chocolate. So if you love sweet drinks, you might enjoy a mocha. An americano is espresso mixed with hot water. It tastes closer to regular black coffee. Cold brew is coffee served cold. Usually smoother and less bitter, very popular during hot weather. Now here's something interesting. Coffee culture changes from country to country. In some countries, people stand and drink coffee quickly. In others, people sit for hours and talk. For example, in Italy, espresso culture is very famous. People often drink coffee quickly at the counter. In the United States, coffee shops are often places for remote work. You see people with laptops everywhere. In some countries, coffee shops are very quiet. In others, they are loud and social. And honestly, that is one reason coffee culture is so fascinating. It reflects the lifestyle of people. Now let's practice some natural English conversations. Imagine you walk into a cafe. The barista smiles and says, "Hi, what can I get for you today?" That sentence is extremely common. You could answer, "Can I get a medium latte, please?" Or, "I'd like a cappuccino." Or maybe, "Could I have an iced coffee?" Notice something important. Native speakers often use soft and polite language instead of saying, "Give me coffee." They say, "Can I get?" or "I'd like," or "Could I have?" Those expressions sound much more natural and polite. Now maybe the barista asks, "For here or to go?" That means, will you drink it inside the cafe or will you take it away? You can answer, "For here," or "To go." Very simple. Now imagine your coffee arrives, you take a sip, and wow, it tastes amazing. You might say, "This coffee is so smooth," or "It has a rich flavor." Or maybe, "This is exactly what I needed today." That last sentence is very natural. People often say it when something feels comforting. Now let's talk about cafes as social spaces. Coffee shops are perfect places for small talk. Small talk means light, casual conversation, not deep or serious. For example, imagine you are sitting in a cafe and someone says, "This place is really cozy." Cozy means comfortable, warm, and relaxing. You could answer, "Yeah, I love the atmosphere here." Atmosphere means the feeling or mood of a place. Here are some useful cafe expressions. This cafe has great vibes. Great vibes means the place feels pleasant and enjoyable. The music here is relaxing. This place is always crowded. Crowded means full of people. I come here all the time. That dessert looks delicious. I need coffee after this long day. Now let's talk about something modern. Coffee shops and remote work. Today, many people work from cafes, especially freelancers, students, writers, and remote workers. You often see someone sitting with headphones, typing on a laptop for 3 hours while drinking 1 cup of coffee. Maybe you are laughing because you know it is true. Some people even call cafes their second office. And because of this, cafes now often provide free Wi-Fi, charging outlets, comfortable chairs, quiet music. Some cafes are designed specifically for productivity. You might hear someone say, "I'm going to work from a cafe today," or "I need a change of environment." That means they want a different place to work because they are tired of staying at home. Now let's talk about coffee habits. People can become very serious about coffee. Very serious, some people only drink black coffee. Some people love sweet drinks. Some people grind their own coffee beans. Some people buy expensive machines. Coffee can become a hobby. You may hear expressions like, "I'm addicted to coffee." Now, technically, addicted is a strong word, but people often use it casually and humorously. Another expression is, "I'm a coffee person." That means someone really loves coffee, or maybe, "I'm picky about my coffee." Picky means difficult to satisfy. For example, Hyosas, he only drinks freshly brewed coffee. Freshly brewed means recently prepared. Now let's talk about coffee and personality. Sometimes people jokingly connect coffee choices to personality. For example, the person who drinks black coffee is serious. The person who orders a giant caramel drink loves sugar. The person who drinks decaf wants coffee without caffeine. By the way, decaf means coffee with little or no caffeine. And caffeine is the ingredient that gives people energy. Some people cannot sleep after drinking coffee late at night. Have you ever experienced that? You drink coffee at 8 p.m., and suddenly your brain decides, no sleep tonight. Then you are lying in bed thinking about every mistake you made since 2014. Coffee can be powerful. Now let's practice storytelling in English using coffee situations. Storytelling is fantastic for fluency. Here's a simple example. Last week, I went to a small cafe near my apartment. It was raining outside and the cafe smelled amazing. I ordered a hot latte and sat near the window. A guy beside me was reading a huge book while soft jazz music played in the background. Honestly, it felt like a movie scene. Notice something important. That story is simple. The grammar is not complicated, but it sounds natural. When you describe experiences using details like weather, smells, music, feelings, and atmosphere, your English becomes more alive. Now let's talk about cafe culture vocabulary connected to food. Coffee shops often sell pastries, cookies, muffins, croissants, sandwiches, cheesecake. A pastry is baked food like sweetbread or desserts. A croissant is that buttery, flaky bread from France. Very delicious. Very dangerous if you are trying to diet. Now imagine this conversation. What are you getting? I think I'll get a cappuccino and a chocolate muffin. That sounds good. Or yes, I'm trying to avoid sugar today. Trying to avoid means trying not to eat or drink something. Now let's talk about coffee shop behavior. Every cafe has different unwritten rules. Some cafes are quiet, some are noisy. Some people stay for hours. Some leave quickly. And there is always that one person on a video call speaking louder than everyone else. You are trying to relax peacefully. And suddenly you hear, yes, the meeting starts at 3. Everyone in the cafe now knows about the meeting. Coffee shops are full of interesting human behavior. Now, let's discuss a very important English skill: giving opinions. Coffee is a great topic for practicing opinions because everyone has preferences. Here are useful opinion phrases. In my opinion, local cafes are better than big chains. I personally prefer iced coffee. I think coffee tastes better in the morning. To be honest, I don't understand people who drink coffee without milk. That's just my preference. Notice how natural these phrases sound. Now let's imagine two friends talking. Do you want to grab coffee later? That expression is extremely common. Grab coffee means meet for coffee. Sure, there's a nice cafe near the station. I heard their cold brew is amazing. Perfect, I need caffeine. Simple, natural, real English. Now let's talk about social media and coffee culture. Coffee has become very visual online. People love posting photos of coffee. Beautiful latte art, minimalist cafes, sunlight on wooden tables, aesthetic notebooks, books beside cappuccinos. Sometimes it feels like people spend more time photographing the coffee than drinking it. You may hear expressions like, "This cafe is so aesthetic." Aesthetic is a very modern word online. It means visually beautiful or stylish. Or, "This place is Instagram-worthy." That means it looks good enough to post online. Now let's talk about cafe conversations in English. Cafes are fantastic places to practice listening. You hear real English, natural speed, casual expressions. You might overhear phrases like, "I've been so busy lately." "I'm exhausted." "Work has been crazy." "I needed this coffee." "We should catch up sometime." Catch up means talk after not seeing each other for some time. Now, here's something interesting. Many English learners feel nervous ordering food or drinks in English, but honestly, ordering coffee is one of the best ways to practice speaking. Why? Because the conversations are short and predictable. You already know the structure. Hi, can I get what size? Medium, please. Anything else? That's all. Your total is very manageable, very practical. If you live in an English-speaking country, cafes are wonderful places for confidence building. And even if you do not live abroad, you can still practice these conversations aloud at home. Yes, seriously, practice speaking out loud. Your mouth needs training too. Now let's talk about accents and coffee names. Sometimes English learners worry about pronunciation. For example, how do you pronounce cappuccino? Or espresso? Or macchiato? And honestly, pronunciation becomes easier with repetition. Do not panic if your accent is not perfect. Communication matters more. Most people care more about understanding you than judging your pronunciation. Confidence is important. Now let's explore some advanced vocabulary connected to coffee. Bitter. If coffee tastes strong and sharp, it may be bitter. Sweet, creamy, smooth, strong, weak, rich, bold. These adjectives help describe flavor. For example, this coffee is too bitter for me. I like bold coffee. This latte is really creamy. Now let's talk about routines. Native speakers often discuss daily routines using coffee. Example, every morning I make coffee before checking my phone. Or chesi, my morning coffee is part of my routine. Routine vocabulary is extremely useful for everyday English. Now imagine this situation. You are traveling in another country. You enter a beautiful cafe. Soft music is playing. The smell of fresh coffee fills the air. You hear conversations around you. You order confidently in English. You understand the menu. You smile. You relax. That moment feels amazing because language suddenly becomes real. Not just grammar, not just textbooks, real life. That is the beauty of learning English through culture and everyday experiences. Now let's talk about coffee and productivity. Many people believe coffee helps them focus. Students drink coffee while studying. Writers drink coffee while writing. Office workers drink coffee during meetings. Sometimes coffee becomes connected to motivation. You may hear someone say, "First coffee, then work." Or, "I need coffee before I can function." Function means operate normally. Again, people often say this humorously. Now let's discuss coffee dates. Meeting someone for coffee is common in many cultures. A coffee date feels casual and relaxed, less pressure than a fancy dinner. Someone may ask, "Would you like to grab coffee sometime?" That invitation can mean friendship, networking, or romantic interest. Context matters. Now let's talk about introverts and cafes. Some people love sitting alone in cafes, not because they are lonely, but because cafes provide peaceful background energy. You are around people, but not forced to interact. Some people read books, some journal, some simply watch people. People watching is another useful expression. It means observing people around you. Cafes are perfect for people watching. Now let's practice a longer, natural monologue. Honestly, one of my favorite things to do is visit small cafes in different cities. Every cafe has its own personality. Some places feel modern and minimalist, while others feel warm and traditional. I love finding a quiet corner, ordering a hot drink, and just relaxing for a while. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I read. Sometimes I simply watch people walking outside the window. There's something calming about cafe culture that makes life slow down for a moment. That kind of English sounds natural because it focuses on experiences and emotions. Now let's discuss coffee trends. Coffee culture changes constantly. Today, many people care about organic coffee, specialty coffee, local cafes, sustainable farming, alternative milk. You may hear words like oat milk, almond milk, soy milk. Many cafes now ask, "What kind of milk would you like?" And suddenly ordering coffee becomes a personality test. Now imagine someone in line saying, "Can I get a triple shot, oat milk vanilla latte with extra foam?" And you are standing behind them thinking, "I just wanted regular coffee." Coffee menus can become very creative. Now let's talk about confidence again. One of the biggest mistakes English learners make is waiting too long before speaking. They study, 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 but rarely use the language naturally. Topics like coffee culture are excellent because they are relaxed and familiar. You do not need difficult vocabulary. You just need simple, real communication. For example, "This cafe is nice." "I love the smell of coffee." "I usually drink iced coffee." "That dessert looks amazing." Simple sentences, real English. Fluency grows from consistency, not perfection. Now let's imagine another cafe story. A few months ago, I visited a tiny cafe during a rainy afternoon. The place was almost empty except for an old man quietly reading a newspaper near the window. The barista was playing soft jazz music, and the entire cafe smelled like fresh pastries and coffee beans. I ordered a cappuccino and sat down with my notebook. For about an hour, I completely forgot about stress, work, and social media. It felt peaceful. Sometimes small moments like that become the best memories. Notice how storytelling creates emotional connection. And emotional connection helps language become memorable. Now let's talk about expressions connected to energy. Coffee gives me energy. This coffee woke me up. I need a caffeine boost. Boost means increase or improvement. Or maybe, I crashed after drinking too much coffee. In casual English, crash can mean suddenly becoming very tired after having energy. Now let's discuss the atmosphere of famous coffee chains versus local cafes. Some people love large international coffee chains because they are familiar. You know what to expect. Others prefer independent cafes because they feel unique and personal. You could say, "I prefer local cafes because they feel more authentic." Authentic means real or genuine. Now here's an interesting question. Why do so many people have deep conversations in cafes? Maybe because cafes feel neutral, comfortable, relaxed. Friends discuss life problems, students discuss dreams, writers discuss ideas. Coffee shops become small social worlds. Now let's practice some listening style expressions. "I'm running on coffee today." That means coffee is the main source of energy. "This coffee hits the spot." That means it feels especially satisfying. "I could use another cup." That means you want another cup. "I'm cutting back on caffeine." Cutting back means reducing. Now let's talk about cafe sounds. This is interesting for descriptive English. You hear coffee machines steaming, cups clinking, people chatting softly, music playing, rain tapping against windows. These sensory details make your English richer. Instead of saying, "The cafe was nice," you can say, "The cafe was warm and cozy, with soft music playing in the background and the smell of fresh coffee everywhere." Much more vivid. Now let's discuss confidence in social situations. Sometimes English learners feel shy about meeting people, but cafes are actually low-pressure environments. You can practice simple questions like, "What are you drinking?" Do you come here often? Have you tried the desserts here? What do you usually order? Natural conversation starts with small moments. Now let's talk about travel and coffee. Many travelers remember cafes from different countries. Maybe a tiny cafe in Paris. Maybe a busy coffee shop in New York. Maybe a quiet, hidden cafe in Tokyo. Coffee experiences become part of travel memories. And honestly, language learning works the same way. You remember emotions, not just vocabulary lists. That's why connecting English to real experiences is so powerful. Now, before we finish, I want to leave you with something important. English fluency is not only about grammar rules, it is also about lifestyle, observation, culture, connection. When you learn how people speak in cafes, restaurants, parks, airports, bookstores, and everyday situations, your English becomes more natural. You stop sounding like a textbook, and you start sounding human. That is the goal, not perfection, connection. So this week, I have a challenge for you. Go to a cafe, or imagine one, and practice speaking English aloud. Describe the atmosphere, describe the coffee, describe the people, describe your feelings. Even 5 minutes of practice helps. You can say, I'm sitting in a quiet cafe. The music is soft and the coffee smells amazing. A few people are working on laptops and the atmosphere feels calm and relaxing. That is real English practice. And little by little, your fluency will grow. All right, English learners, that's all for today's episode. I hope this conversation helped you learn useful vocabulary, natural expressions, and everyday English connected to coffee culture. And honestly, now I kind of want a cappuccino. Thank you for spending time with me here at Everyday English Lab. Keep practicing, keep listening, keep speaking, and most importantly, enjoy the process. I'm Joe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and have a beautiful day.